Hey guys, how you doing? I'm going to show you how to go ahead and, one possible way anyways, of setting up this file. So I'm going to demonstrate this in Adobe Illustrator, but keep in mind this would be an identical process for Adobe InDesign. So let's go ahead and take a look at the instructions. And by the way, I'm in the week 3, assignment 3, part 1, typographic hierarchies and alignments, first iteration, instructions page. So here we see the instructions for this assignment. We note that this assignment requires a 15 by 20 inch file, black field, that's a black background, with 4 5 by 5 panels that are arranged as we see here, indicating equal margins, top and bottom, left and right, and a 1-inch gutter. That's the distance between the 4 5 by 5 inch layouts that you'll place in here. Okay, so let's set up the file first. So we have 15 by 20 black field with 1-inch margins. Well, let's forget the margins right now and just set up the file. So I'm going to go to Illustrator. And I'm going to come to my Create New, and that's going to open up a new document dialog box. And as soon as that opens, we'll see here's our new document dialog box. And as that opens, we're going to see some choices here. So right now, as you can see, I've got this set up at 15 inches by 20 inches. Now, 15 by 20 InDesign, folks, the width always comes first. That's how we know what is width and what is height. Width is always first. So this is 15 inches wide, 20 inches high. As we can see, this has been transposed successfully to the width of 15 inches, a height of 20 inches. All right, at this point, I think we can leave this all at default settings. No advanced settings here, no more settings. So we'll just go ahead and create. This is going to create our 15-inch by 20-inch Illustrator file, but as we can see, it does not have a black background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my rectangle tool to set a black background in place. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my background at black. My fill color is at black. My stroke color is going to be set at none because we don't want a stroke on this. I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, and I'm just going to come right up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw that black rectangle right in there. And we are set and ready to go. Now I want to set up some guides so that I know everything is placed evenly. So we're going to do a little bit of math here. We're going to do this math. We're going to set up this little mathematical equation to figure out our margin. So we know, and let's do the height first. So we know we got 20 inches, right? We know that each of these is 5 inches, and then we know that the distance between is 1 inch. So that's 5 inches, 10 inches, 1 inch. That's 11 inches. 20 minus 11 is 9. We need to divide 9 by 2 to get an equal margin top and bottom. That's 4.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to use my rectangle tool again to set up a guide. So I'll just click my rectangle tool. I'm going to click out here in the artboard, and I'm just going to set this up at 4.5 by 4.5. Well, first thing I'm going to do though is I want to change my background color to white so we can see that. Okay, so let's go back here and let's just go ahead and say 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. We'll say okay, and there is our. We're going to just use this to set up a guide, right? So I'm going to place that at the top. I'm going to hit Command R to bring out my rulers. And I'm just going to grab a ruler, a guide from the ruler, and I'm going to pull it right down there and set that up right there at 4.5 inches. Let's go ahead and set this down here. And we'll do the same thing here, set up a guide right there. Okay, I don't need this anymore, guys. I can get rid of that, right? It was just used for a guide. We got our top and bottom margin set up. Let's set up our left and right margins. So we know this is 15 inches wide. These are each 5 inches, and the center gutter is 1 inch. So that's 5, 10, 11 inches. 15 inches wide minus 11 inches is 4 inches. Divided by 2 for each side, right and left margin, is 2 inches. So let's go ahead and set up another little rectangle. We're going to say this one's going to be 2 inches by 2 inches. We'll say okay, and there it is. Let's go ahead and set that guy up right. Whoops. Set that guy up right over here. We'll draw, whoops, I get him right there. Oh, this is not snapping the way it should be. There it is. All right, so let's just go ahead and pull that guy right there at 2 inches. And then we'll come over here and we'll pull this guide at 2 inches as well. All right, now don't need this anymore. It was just used for a guide. Now I need to set up my guides for the 5x5 little compositions we're going to place in the center here, but we need an inch gutter between all 4 of those boxes. So what I'm going to do is, you guessed it, I'm going to set up another rectangle to use to set up my guides. And this time we're just going to click this one. We're going to say 5x5 here. Okay, and there's my 5x5. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this. And again, I'm just using this to establish my guides. Place it right up there. Here's our first guide right there. And here's our second guide right there. All right. Now I can move this right over here so I can get this guide to determine that center gutter. And there we go. Perfect. Now I can take this, move it down here to get my final guide. There we are. Now I can get rid of this, guys. I don't need this anymore. I'm all set up. So I've got this area right here for one of the compositions, second composition, third composition, fourth composition, 1 inch gutter all the way around. Is that 4.5 inch margin top and bottom, 2 inch margin left and right. We are ready to go. At this point right now, you would go out and you would, if you're in the InDesign, you would set up your InDesign files for the individual compositions that are going to place in each of these 4 squares, right? So I've created an InDesign, I'm sorry, same thing in Illustrator too. In Illustrator, you would just go ahead and place the 5x5 inch little documents right in here. So I've created a little Illustrator 5x5 inch document that will open right now. And you can see, I've just kind of mocked up this assignment a little bit. You'll see what I mean in a second as soon as this opens up. And there it is. And this is where you would compose your, excuse me, your hierarchy assignment right in here. Right in here. Okay, save it out. Note I've got a white background on here, so it's visible. At any rate, I would save that out. Okay, so I'm going to close that. Then I would go back to my original file. So theoretically, you would have 4 of those files, right, for the 4 compositions. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here are the instructions for all 4 of those. At this point, what I would do is I would come in here, and when the compositions are done, I would just place them. So I'd go in my Illustrator file, I would just go File, Place. And then I would navigate out to that file, my 4 files. There's that one. I would place that right here. Right there. Boom. And there it is. At this point, I would place the second file here, third file here, fourth file here, save it out, and that's it. Okay, guys. That's it. That's the setup for this assignment. Now, remember, I demonstrated in Adobe Illustrator, but the process is identical in Adobe InDesign. So if you've got any questions or need further clarification, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you very much.